And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for Off the Reel sessions, where we do a 10 to 15 minute interview with the act that just performed. But before we jump into that, make sure that you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/onthemarkstudio, also our Instagram, On the Mark Studio, and go to YouTube and subscribe to us, youtube.com/onthemarkstudio. Additionally, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us out every single month. Patreon.com/onthemarkstudio. You can become a sponsor for as little as $5 a month. Anything helps, and I'd like to give a shout out to our monthly sponsors, Coburn's Exclusive out of Nashville, Tennessee, and Celestial Viking Entertainment here in Columbia, South Carolina. But I'm going to jump into this interview with the incredible performers that just performed here live on the stage at the Warehouse Live for our On the Reel sessions. This is Marshall Brown and Shane Sanders.
Hello.
Yeah, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
But let's go ahead and jump in. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about kind of your musical influences and what got you started?
Yeah. As far as influences, I wear a lot on my sleeve. Mm-hmm. I'm big into like the bigger names a lot of like the 60s psychedelic stuff. I'm a big Beatles nerd and all that kind of stuff. Big Beach Boys fan. I'm wearing a Kinks shirt, if you didn't know that. Yeah, I love all that stuff. I love all the things that come from that area. Just like a lot of big vocals. I love harmony and melody and counter melody and all sorts of music.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing since I was a kid. I guess I started playing guitar in the 7th grade. I play a little bit of keys. I can play some other things, but I'm kind of a jack of all trades, maybe a king of nothing. But I've been playing a long time. I had a band called The Reverie. Shout out to The Reverie, guys. Hey. That was years ago. 2010, I put out my first solo record, started recording my music myself. Cool. And
what's the name of that album?
That is New Moons.
Okay.
And funny story, what we played tonight is pretty much my latest record. It's called ASMR. I've already said that. Yeah. You heard it. The only track, we played through the album, the only track that we did tonight that is not from ASMR was a track called Sun Trance. That we put in place of Analog Sympathizer from the record, because it didn't really suit for this sort of thing. But in that song, it references Sun Trance, and that's off of New Moons. So that was a deep cut. Yeah. Tracing back to the first solo record,
that's
New
like
Moons.
Your OG fans.
Yeah.
Following you for a long time.
And that song, Analog Sympathizer on the new record, it has a silly little thing where it says, if direction brings you down, then, what's the line? If direction brings you down, then moving on is exactly wherever you're facing. Marshall Brown said that. Ha 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 ha. And that line is from Sun Trance. So I thought it would be cool to replace that song with Sun Trance and kind of do a deep dive.
Yeah.
That's also a song that, through the years of playing live during different times, Sun Trance was one that we didn't do a lot. Mm-hmm. Just because it had its more difficult, weird things, and it just was one that never kind of got on the plate.
Yeah.
Anyways, just a side note.
No, that's great. I love diving into that. So you kind of got started. You're listening to like Beatles and the Beach Boys. You've been playing. How long you been writing?
Well, I mean, I remember writing some real crappy songs when I was a teenager. But then played in a band called Exit 101. Anybody remember Exit 101? Shout out. That was kind of the first band that I ever played in that was playing out. And then during that time, I was kind of helping them write some songs, kind of in a songwriter in the round kind of thing, writing together, and started writing some new songs, and then kind of split off with some other guys and formed The Reverie, where we were playing my songs. So I guess that was really, in my early 20s is when I really started kind of getting serious and writing for a band and being able to have a band to like flesh it out, which is a really cool thing if you've only played like a song in your bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
And and then as far as recording, I started kind of learning to do it myself on a little digital 8-track Tascam Porta Studio.
Yeah.
That was my little baby. For years, I like did all my production and writing and recording my albums on that, which was interesting because it's definitely a different process. Taking 8-track, because I did big production on it. It was like I might have 5 song files, so I could bounce these 8 tracks into this other thing and still have those other tracks I could go back and. I'm being nerdy.
No, I have an old Roland. So I know what you're talking about. Like, you know, those are really cool systems to work with.
Not to sound like a nerd, but I knew that system well. I knew it like the back of my hand. I did stuff that most people would probably never dream of doing on it, because why would you do that?
Yeah.
This I had an EP come out. Called In the Mirror, right before ASMR, and that EP and ASMR, the new album that we just played, those are the first recordings that I've done where I was using a computer and wasn't using. So before those 2 records, if you look at like if you go to marshallbrownmusic.com and look at all my records that I put out, those last 2 are the only ones that have been on, like not on. Everything else before that was on that.
It was on the Tascam.
On that Tascam.
That's pretty sweet, man. Yeah. And considering that the digital age has been, I mean, it's been going full force for the early 2000s at least. I mean, and so the fact that you chose to go that route versus, you know, Pro Tools or anything like that.
I was a late bloomer with getting on a computer, and I love it. Yeah. You know, I've had to learn some things, but there's also a lot of shortcuts to the way I had to do it with the other equipment, for sure. So that's...
Well, do you mind if we talk to Shane?
No, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, no?
I wouldn't worry about it.
We'll just move on, so...
What's your experience with music? What's your experience with music?
My experience?
Is it good?
I enjoy it, yeah. I mean, I would say so.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Shane tinkers a lot with recording too.
Oh, does he?
I try and tell him he should do it and like, you know, put it out. But he likes recording. I've been trying to push him.
So you do some recording. So kind of the same questions. How long? I mean, the slew of instruments that you're playing over there tonight was pretty interesting and fun to watch. So, you know, you play the flute. You obviously play percussion. So how long have you been doing all that?
Well, the flute was just a little dumb project over like COVID time. You know, it was left at my house from an ex-girlfriend.
Really?
And I decided to. I was like, I'm going to learn that thing. So I did. And,
that's crazy.
You know, I just got like a beginner book just to learn scales and just, you know, obviously don't practice that much. It's pretty awful, but I can make noise and sounds with it, and that's all important to me.
You can stay in key.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lost.
How long have you been playing percussion?
That's kind of my newest thing. I started out as a teenager playing guitar, you know, listening to just metal and punk rock and, you know, being into those type of bands. And I had a high school band like that, but eventually just changing my taste, and now it's all over the place, and it makes me want to learn new instruments, and decided to try drums and, you know, play it on friend sets. And I was like, you know, this is really fun. So I just started, you know, wasting a lot of money on instruments
and gear, that tends to happen.
Yeah.
And you sing as well. So how long have you been singing?
I guess since I was a kid with my mom, we sang a lot. You know, a lot of Tom Petty and Fleetwood Mac in the car.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I think that's on repeat in most of our cars.
Yeah.
Maybe not him, because he does just Beatles and Beach Boys.
Right. He's very close-minded.
Yeah. What's that? Was there a band growing up that really inspired you to get into music? Yeah. So what about you? So you obviously Tom Petty and Fleetwood Mac, was that kind of your inspiration, or where did you kind of teeter on your own like individual spectrum?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's just nonstop. I mean, every month I get obsessed with another band from another genre, another time period, and I'm just soaking it all in all my life. It probably makes me, not focus a lot on a certain thing. Like I'm okay at a lot of things, and I just enjoy learning. I think that's what it stems from.
What band are you on currently?
Yeah,
Marshall
I'm
Brown.
kind of into Marshall Brown. I don't know if y'all have heard of him.
Yeah.
He's a local guy. Goodness. It's too many. It's too many things.
No,
I can't even say.
Every day I'm falling into a different artist and hearing new things. I know exactly what you're talking about. How did you guys meet? How'd this come about, and where you guys got on stage together?
We met through mutual friends, and we kind of were around each other a good bit before we really started playing together and really even like hanging out. At some point we realized that we had a lot in common and kind of we would just fiddle around and really just talk about music a lot.
Yeah.
And play each other's songs and stuff, and then started kind of playing together. We did I sang and played guitar, and you played drums and sang and played some guitar for a Fleetwood Mac tribute.
Oh, nice.
When was that? It was like a year and a half ago, was it? Really, ever since then, we've been hanging out more. He was kind of like my COVID buddy. When we weren't seeing anybody else, we'd hang out so we could just talk to music and talk about music and talk to music.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been pretty tight pals here as of recent.
It's cool. I mean, the show you guys put on was I think probably one of the most unique shows that we've had on here.
Thank you.
Like it was just fun to watch somebody express, like both of you. You had your own approach artistically on the songs. It was really nice and kind of refreshing, to be honest.
Thank you.
And then the jacket at the end, man, was.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the best expression all night.
Right on. Right on. Thank you.
I want to kind of dive into your songwriting a little bit. So,
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about your process and, is there a certain way that you approach it? Some people have this kind of like, however it comes, melody first.
Yeah.
But do you have like a specific approach?
There are definitely different approaches that I have. A lot of times, something might come to me. I might have like a melody in my head or something, and I have to go to a guitar and figure out how to accompany it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, it could be like a riff. I feel like more so lately, like the last few years, it's been more the other way around, just because I don't necessarily jam and riff. There have been long periods where I haven't really done that, so I'm not really coming up with riffs as much as I like have an idea for a song. But certainly I do both. The fact that I record myself, a lot of times I'll have a pretty good idea of the way I want something to be, but I also like to kind of experiment too once I start recording, and you try different things, and then a lot of times something blooms out of just the process of recording, where something kind of changes or becomes a little different, and you decide whether you hate it or you're going to embrace it.
Yeah, exactly. So do you consider yourself more of like exploratory in the studio? Because I know everybody approaches the studio differently. So some people go in and this is how I'm going to cut it, and then I cut it. Or do you go into the studio with the purpose of exploring?
Well, I'll tell you, if I was paying to go into someone else's studio, I would definitely know what the heck I was gonna do. But that's one benefit of doing it myself. Is because I do have the time to kind of experiment. There is something to be said for getting all your ducks in a row and going in and be focused and doing a thing. But I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like building a song, and a lot of times I do have a lot of ideas, like the main idea down. But I think of myself as pretty experimental. I like to embrace weird things.
Yeah.
And basically tonight, I mean, we were trying to. I knew that we wouldn't be able to do everything just like the way the record is.
Yeah.
With just the two of us, but we figured let's just make this weird. I really wanted to kind of embrace and make it a unique show, rather than a lot of times, you know, like if I have a full band show, there's a lot of songs. All right, we can do this like the album,
Exactly.
And then when I play by myself, it's really singer songwritery. I get a little more like sappy tone, and it just becomes very singer songwritery. And I was trying to steer away from that to actually do renditions and get weird.
Yeah.
And be kind of weird. That's why I got Shane.
Yeah.
Because he's good at that. He's good. He like really wants to be weird. He lets his freak flag fly.
Well, it felt like you just took your time tonight. You know what I mean? Like from start to finish, you guys just allowed to fill the whole room with whatever you felt in that moment. And that's kind of what was like how I believe how we all felt in the studio tonight, that you just really just did what you felt in the room, and there wasn't like any I mean, obviously you had a plan on kind of where you're going to go, but there wasn't too much preconceived ideas.
Yeah, well, we were trying to trick you a little bit, but there was certainly coming in with a live stream thing. We knew that this is kind of a weird setup, and there were a lot of cues with the potential to be missed.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew that like it was what happens is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be the set. But we had some loose guides and order of things.
But that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
To be honest, it makes it organic, and you have a lot of magical moments when that
Thank
happens.
you, thank you,
know what I
thank
mean? We did have some questions come through. This one's by Brett Nash. If Marshall could use one adjective to describe each of the songs on ASMR, what would they be?
A different adjective for every song?
Use one adjective to describe
Does it
each
have
of
to
the
start
songs.
with the... I'm just going to go...
You could do... How about you could describe the whole song, the whole album in an adjective?
I feel like that's easier.
Yeah.
If he meant it another way, I would just say, don't worry about it.
I think he personally wanted every single song, but we'll go with just
I know
the
him,
album.
and I'll just have a talk with him. I can do that. We don't have to do that here. I can give that to him later. I would say A is for angelic.
That works.
M is for meridian. Oh, S. What does ASMR really stand for? What is it? It's autonomous sensory meridian response. Those are those
Yeah.
responses in an adjective? We're just going to do that anyway.
Yeah, we'll just,
I would say
just go with it.
autonomous sensory meridian response.
Okay.
How about that?
There you go, Brent. That's how it is, man.
That's good enough, Brett.
He also had another question. Any specific inspirations, whether musical, tangible, or intangible, for ASMR?
Secret Guest. Secret Guest is the band that he plays in. So I just want. I'm a crowd pleaser. I don't want to say Secret Guest. He actually plays in a whole bunch of bands. Trying to think if it's more. I feel like it's just a mesh of things. I can't really pick one artist. What would you say?
And it doesn't have to be an artist. No, it's just inspiration.
Just inspiration?
Yeah, in general.
Well, I've actually been a fan of ASMR, like literally.
Yeah.
Not my album. That was kind of an inspiration. I'm naturally like a really like a night owl. It's very easy for me to be pumped up when I need to go to bed and go to sleep.
Yeah.
I have a job that allows me to stay up very late at night, and sometimes I go to like my bedtime's like 3:00 a.m. and then I wake up in time to be at work. I work 11:30 to 7:30.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Red Box. So that works, but like ASMR is something that I started using to help me calm down
Gotcha.
and go to sleep. When I would pop it in my headphones, and do that. And I would listen to like the credit cards. Like I like that deep ear stuff. Do
Listen,
people
speaking of, you
people
gotta
either-
tell me what that was about.
Okay.
I gotta know what that was
It's
about.
not my credit card number.
Yeah, I think we all. So if you missed it on the live stream, the very last thing he did, other than putting on this ridiculously awesome coat, he read out credit card numbers. So I'm interested behind this story.
Well, there's a lot of different types of ASMR, I should say ASMR videos. ASMR technically is the response that it gives you. It's the tingly feeling in your brain.
Yeah.
If you're receptive to it. But there are a lot of ASMR videos, different type things. I mean, they like do like role play things and all, but I like where it's just like it's deep. It's called deep ear, and you put headphones in, and it literally feels like someone's massaging your brain. Like they will take, and it's different. I wasn't really able to, on the Shure microphone, dynamic microphone, to really get it. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of gave up. I really just wanted to read the card out, but with a condenser mic, you pop one of those screens on there and you rub a card on it and you have earphones in, you crank that up, it will like massage your inner ear. It's amazing. And just like little whispers and like clicking and tapping, things like that like, it's just noises.
Yeah.
I don't really need someone to really talk to me or like, like you're beautiful or, like, oh my God.
Listen to the sound of my
Oh
voice.
my Lord. You're so good looking. I don't need to listen to that necessarily like before I go to sleep to soothe myself to sleep. But I like sounds and I don't know. It's kind of the same thing as listening to like a rain track or something
It's kind of
like
like
that.
a sensory thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just soothing. It helps me calm down and take almost like, like meditation, like take the words and inner dialogue out of your brain so you can relax and fall asleep.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah. So that was that. I think what I was saying was that was a thing that inspired some things on the album. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
ASMR.
definitely get that vibe like tonight.
Right.
So it was just really on it. Once again, it was just really a journey to sit and listen to you guys.
Thank
It was
you.
pretty awesome. So I want the people here to experience you live. Do you have any upcoming shows that they can come and see you?
I wish I could say I had more. Got some. I'm trying to get in the mode. I really kind of want to work towards getting like a full band back together.
Yeah.
Doing that type of thing. Might do some more of kind of like what we did tonight.
Yeah.
In the near future to just kind of kick that around while it's on our mind, because it's kind of fun to do like this. I've never really done anything like this with the orchestra pit. The what do you call that?
Yeah.
Not orchestra pit. It's the percussion pit, I guess. Yeah. But I do have some stuff. Brett Nash, actually, that I was talking about that asked us those questions. Him and my friend Dylan Dickerson from Deer Blanca. Those two and I have a project called Shows is the name of it.
Okay.
And we recorded a little 3-song EP and it came out like last year sometime. And we haven't done a show yet, but we do have some shows. This next month, in July, I think we're playing. There's like a Thursday night towards the end of July. What is the date? Is it 22nd at New Brooklyn Tavern?
Okay.
And then I think it just got confirmed today that we're going to be playing somewhere in Charleston the next night on
Sweet.
Friday night. So that's a different project,
Yeah.
but equally as fun of a project. I have a lot of fun playing with those guys, and we kind of like just take it as like, this is just going to be a fun project. Not that like the songs are necessarily like silly or anything, but we tend to be a little silly when we're around each other.
Music is fun, period.
Music is fun.
Yeah.
Music is fun.
How can people follow you, just in case you do release any new shows coming up?
Absolutely. So I am on Facebook. It's my artist page is Marshall Brown Music. I really do a little more with Instagram. I feel like I get well, it doesn't matter. Instagram is, I think, Marshall Brown Music as well. Nope, it's the real Marshall Brown.
The real Marshall Brown.
And that is such a cliche thing to say, but I would like to point out. Am I eating this mic?
No.
I'm not used to using a mic like this, talking. I'd like to point out that that's kind of a cliche thing to do, to say the real Marshall Brown, but for a while there, it was kind of the issue because I'm not the only Marshall Brown on Spotify. All my music is on all streaming services, Spotify and Apple Music. There's some stuff on YouTube. But there was another Marshall Brown, and people were getting it mistaken. People were saying, "Oh, you should check Marshall Brown out," and then they were checking this other Marshall Brown. So that's kind of why I took that, the real Marshall Brown,
the OG Marshall Brown.
Yeah. But yeah, on Instagram it is the real Marshall Brown. If you go to marshallbrownmusic.com, it routes you to my Bandcamp.
Okay, cool.
But I encourage people, if you like an artist, go to Bandcamp and buy records. You know, there's that saying, what is it, like if you pay a few bucks for a $10 for a record just to download it, even though why do you need to download something, you know, if you can stream it, you know?
Yeah.
I get the age we're living in, but if you do that, that's like streaming it on Spotify for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
That might not be.
I think your math's correct.
I might be exaggerating, but you know, that helps out artists a lot. So I like supporting Bandcamp. Bandcamp is cool. And you can see everything right in order. It's nice and clean.
Yeah, man. I like Bandcamp too. It's just a nice direct way to support artists, you know, which it was a beautiful concept when it came out. Absolutely. But I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
What a great addition to the slew of artists that we've had on this stage, and we hope to have you back again the next season. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And Marshall Brown, if you missed his show tonight, make sure you go back and you watch his 1 hour premiere on the Real Sessions here live at the Warehouse. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to YouTube and you subscribe, youtube.com/OnTheMarc Studio, and go to patreon.com and become a sponsor on the Marc Studio for as little as $5 a month. Once again, thanks so much for joining us. We have Reggie Sullivan coming on the stage next week from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much.